Hi everyone, Lazy Fire here. Welcome to the Hate the Player podcast. We're on episode 38. We're actually, believe it or not, a year into this thing.
Holy shit, really?
This is August 31st. The first one that we did, I posted September 3rd of last year.
Wow.
Yeah, so think about that. We have not improved or done well for ourselves in the entire time.
We've all grown a little bit, but not necessarily up.
Yeah, it's been a fun time, actually, oddly enough. Even with the insanity that's happened between this and everything else I do, I've still actually enjoyed getting together and talking on the weekends, which is weird.
Yeah, for real.
About video games with people I used to play video games with all the time. Obviously, my life is very interesting. Don't ask other questions. But, yeah, video games. That's absolutely what we're here for.
Hooray.
I got the temptation to buy Diablo 3 this week because everyone was talking about it. Because it just had the Reaper of Souls edition come out on the consoles. And by that I mean the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4. And so everyone's talking this thing up and talking about how great it is. And I'm like, but I have Torchlight 2. And that's made by Diablo people. And okay. So I fired that up for the first time in months and started playing that. And it's still a lot of fun. It's mindless clicking, but it's still a lot of fun.
What, Torchlight?
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Yeah, I had the first game for my Xbox 360 because they did a release on the Xbox Live Arcade with that, and it was a pretty fun game. But Torchlight 2 is way better. But yeah.
So did you not have did you not get Diablo 3 like regular when it first came out?
I built my PC a few months after Diablo 3 came out, and I didn't really feel the need to go and rush and buy the game. But I thought I was going to do that when I first built the PC, and then instead of that, I bought a bunch of stuff on Steam Summer Sale, and I was like, why would I pay $60 for Diablo 3? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
It's on sale this week for $30 or $20. I think $20. And I'm still looking at it going, I can't justify that.
It was fun. I actually had it came out close to my birthday. Whenever it did, how long? It was 2 years ago?
Yeah,
or just a year ago?
A year ago. Oh well, no, 2 years ago now.
Yeah.
Because it was in the fall of. Yeah, and then I built my PC in the summer.
Oh,
so.
okay. No, yeah, that's right. I got it. A buddy of mine gave it to me for Christmas. It's a good friend of mine from college, and we always used to play games together. So it was kind of like a way for us to start playing games again. And it was fun. I had a good time playing with it. It was definitely a lot more fun with another person. But then just stuff happens in life. Didn't really have time to play much, and I didn't really feel like playing alone. And then, after beating it once, that was kind of it. It didn't really have the kind of replay feel that Diablo 2 had.
Yeah, a lot of people, and I can't really explain what the feeling is, but a lot of people do make that case that Diablo 3 is not as good as Diablo 2. It's. I think a lot of people, and it's the same thing. The people who said, "Oh, Battlefield 4 isn't as good as Battlefield Bad Company," that's because you played the game years ago, and that was the game you played for so long. And
right.
When an update comes out with a lot of changes to it, it doesn't feel great. So I don't know if maybe that's part of it or what.
Yeah, I mean, if they ever do come out with Diablo 4, it'll be the same thing. People, well, it's not as good as Diablo 3, and certainly not as good as Diablo 2. I mean, it's the same argument you hear every time a new Call of Duty comes out.
Yeah.
I never played it, but people think, the first Modern Warfare, I get Call of Duty 4 was just the best video game ever created. I'm sure if I went back and actually played it, it'd probably still seem like a huge piece of shit.
Well, the thing, and I get that. I think the issue with the issue with the Call of Duty franchise, and I know I was really hoping not to get caught into that again, ever.
Sorry.
But no, it's a valid point. When you look at Call of Duty Modern Warfare, a lot of the bullshit that people complain about in the game now, like the game doesn't run well, it's clearly taxing the hardware, all this other crap, and the insanity of the kill streaks and the weirdness of all the shit they put into the game, and with Advanced Warfare, it's going to get worse. But with Ghosts, a lot of people complain it's just boring because they basically made a paint-by-numbers Call of Duty game in the multiplayer, and they took out all the fun stuff like the airborne kill streaks. There's no airborne kill streaks in Ghosts, save for one where you get in a helicopter and fire a sniper rifle.
Right. Yeah.
Like there's very little of that stuff that people really liked. A lot of people now, they've actually moved off of saying Call of Duty 4 was the best Call of Duty ever, and have started saying that Modern Warfare 2 was the best Call of Duty ever. Because the pure insanity that game had on offer was apparently awesome.
Guitar riff!
Yeah,
Woo!
every time I level up, I'm gonna prestige. Why don't I have all my things? I hate all these low-level weapons. Complained for 4 hours. Yeah, I think if you played Call of Duty 4 now with a server that wasn't fucking hacked to shit, and people who weren't JTagging their Xboxes and all this other crap, you'd still probably have a good time. It's not going to be... I think that game has changed so little between Call of Duty 4 and the current games out there. Like, there's some things that have changed, but for the most part, they're fucking the same game. And because of that, it's just... You'll probably go in there and have a good time, not have to worry about anything too much. But if you go into a game like Diablo, where it's like, okay, the system is now like this, or our loot drops are going to be like this now, and movements changed like this, people will be like, well, that's not exactly what's going on here. So, who knows?
Well, I mean, it'd be kind of hard to change mechanics on what's essentially a point-and-click game.
Yeah. But, I mean, a lot of people hated the auction house, for example.
Yeah. And real quick, I need to apologize for my voice. I was yelling at my TV for about 8 to 10 hours yesterday watching college football. Yeah. So it was completely shot, which is probably going to be a recurring theme for the fall for all of these podcasts.
after yesterday's...
I'm a very even-keeled person. I let it fucking fly during football season. And I know I'd get pretty wound up playing Battlefield, but yeah, I'm screaming during football in the fall.
Yeah, well, it's what happens. People get really, really into stuff like that.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. Roll Tide. I can't wait. I hope Bama loses a bunch of games and people get all freaked out this year. It's going to be amazing.
Honestly, they're kind of expected to. Just from looking around. I mean, it's going to be one of those seasons to where, if they do win them all, it won't be a huge surprise. But if they do drop one or two, that won't be a huge surprise either, because they did, lose their quarterback, and now Lane Kiffin of all people is offensive coordinator, and which is really surprising because he's terrible. And he looks kind of like Daniel Tosh.
Oh, that's painful.
But no, it's going to be a real weird season, and this first week, not to get into football chat, but this first week kind of was weird as well. Teams that were expected to dominate, still won, but not nearly in the fashion that they were expected to. Like Florida State only won by 7. They had a hard time. It was just weird all around. Bama actually had a difficult time with West Virginia. LSU came back in literally the final quarter down by 17 and ended up winning by 7. Just because Les Miles is insane. But yeah, sorry, football chat.
Yeah, football
Back
chat.
to video games.
I miss football. It's like the one thing I really miss after I cut my cable subscriptions, but it needed to happen. I've actually been cable free for a year now. It's like, but they also say that that's basically the one thing that people are sticking around with cable subscriptions for.
Sports.
Yeah, because live sports are really only done that way. But I've been looking into HD antennas and shit like that, and like.
Well, I mean, how close to a bar are you?
There is one literally. Whoa! I was gonna say 20 feet, but it's. I would say.
I'm sitting in one right now.
Pretty close. It's called Scores.
Is it a strip club?
No. As far as I know, my wife and I always said that we would, like, one day if it was snowed out and we just didn't feel like cooking dinner, we'd just go down there, and we can't bring ourselves to walk, like, the 4 minutes that would take us to get to that bar. It's just, it's really bad. But every time I go past it, I can always hear people in the parking lot yelling at each other, so I think there might be a fight club that meets there. I don't know. I'm a little concerned. But yeah, that's the one thing I miss. But, HD antennas and so on, I thought about getting one of those and just letting that ride. I don't think that'd be too bad. But, I'm also very, very cheap, and I say that now.
It just depends on which is going to win out, your frugalness or your desire to watch sports.
I have co-opted the TV at my in-laws' house way too many times on Sunday. Like, my niece and nephew were trying to watch, like, How to Train Your Dragon for the 500th time, and I just, like, you kids don't want to watch this, you want to watch the game. And I changed to whatever's on, usually NFC football at that time of the day. Uncle, we don't want to watch this. Yeah, you do.
Yeah, you do.
You know how...
You'll thank me when you're older.
You know exactly how that fucking movie ends, kid. You have it at home. I know for a fact that you've watched it at least 100 times because you're fucking 6. Like, kids. This is different every time. But yeah, I miss football. Let's put it that way. But we're here to hate on things and events and so on someday.
I've been playing more Unturned.
Yes, actually, that was kind of what I wanted to talk about. You had an experience in Unturned.
Yeah, I've been I'm a minor YouTube celebrity now.
Minor?
Through my Unturned experience. Yeah. I've been featured on 3 episodes of a Let's Play. So no, yeah, I was playing some more with Generic B and Paul Soares Jr. Just because they tweeted out that they were hopping on the server, and if anyone did happen to have the IP, feel free to come in and play. So I hop in, and I'm really kicking myself because I hop in, say what's up to them. They kind of know me by now, and so I managed to find them, and I hesitated. I didn't pull the trigger. Like, I thought maybe, like, oh, well, maybe we're cool now. Maybe I shouldn't shoot them. They just turn around and blast me in the face. And you can watch it. Like, the last 2 episodes that both of them have posted feature them killing me several times. Because right after they killed me, I managed to spawn not too far away. So, like, the last time I played with them, it was like, oh, okay, we killed you. Haha, you can come get your stuff. We're not gonna mess with it. So I go running up into this military base with not a thing on me, and I just get blasted in the face again. And they're just like, hold on, we're looking through your stuff. I'm like, we'll let you know when we're done. And so they're going through all my crap, and I had some good stuff. Some really good rifles and some military night vision, which is really good because when it gets dark in that game, it gets really dark.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, even if you crank the gamma, it's still pretty hard to see where you're going.
No, you're right. When we played, that was the one thing I picked up from nighttime was holy shit.
Yeah,
you cannot see your hand in front of your face in that game at night.
Yeah, and the flashlights and headlamps are kind of useless. Like, you really just need to find night vision goggles. So again, cue to 5 minutes later, I spawned even farther away, so I found a car, and was driving back to the military base. Paul Soares Jr. shoots me out of the car, like from the military base, just headshots me while I'm driving up, still, probably 200 yards from the base.
Jesus.
And so they start cracking up. So finally they're like, okay, we're done.
Yeah.
So then they had a pretty fun idea, which I think the next episode they both post will be, you'll get to watch this. And I think maybe they're kind of wrapping up that Let's Play, at least until a more stable version comes out.
Yeah.
Because Generic B tweeted out the IP.
Oh.
Just to get pubbies to come in, and their idea was, let's kind of barricade ourselves at the airport, tell everyone the IP, tell them where we're at, and just have, a big, invasion to where we have to basically fight for our lives as everyone tries to come after us at the airport. And by that point, they had kind of asked me to join up with them. They're like, hey, why don't you, they let me know what they were doing. They're like, why don't you join up with us at the airport? And I'm really mad because apparently they weren't recording. Before they told me that, I found them at the airport and killed both of them. But they were like, oh, too bad we weren't recording. It's like, son of a bitch. Thought you assholes recorded everything.
No, that's the weird thing. I noticed it with a few other people that are on the Minecraft server, but they will constantly just kill fraps and then start it back up because those files are fucking gigantic.
That's what I've heard.
It's literal gigabytes for 15 minutes.
Yeah, because nowadays, if you don't have, 1080p gameplay, everyone thinks you're fucking clown shoes, apparently.
Yeah. That's the weird thing, because YouTube's bitrate is so bad that 1080p gameplay and 60 frames per second are probably not going to come across great.
No, they don't. Like, I've got really good display on my computer, and it doesn't really make much of a difference between 720 and 1080 watching on YouTube.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, they kind of open the floodgates, and it's just a constant stream of people connecting and disconnecting to the server. It got super, super laggy. It was kind of fun. I'm sure there was some guy who we never found. I'm pretty sure he was hacking to where he killed all three of us in the control tower of the airport with a crossbow. No clue where he was. So it was a great idea, a little anticlimactic. I'll be interested to see how it looks on their screens. I died a lot more than they did, so I spent most of my time just trying to run back to the airport and get my stuff. So maybe they did get a few, kills and had some fun with it, but no, it was pretty interesting experience overall, playing with, quote unquote famous YouTubers, because they would mention me in the game, and the title of the video is like, oh, hey, we shoot our friend Three Toes in the face, or they knew me by my Twitter handle, which was something different. And I got I got 5 subscribers to my YouTube channel. I have no videos on my YouTube channel, but got 5 subscribers. Gained about maybe half a dozen Twitter followers, which I don't tweet out anything.
Yeah.
Like, I just use Twitter to respond to people and read funny tweets. Like, I don't make an effort to, like, tweet anything. Several messages on YouTube, like countless messages on YouTube asking for the IP of the server before they released it. It's just nuts how crazy these kids get with, wanting to attach themselves to these, YouTube celebrities. And literally all I did was I would just follow Generic and just tweet at him, if he had a joke or something, I'd, try and contribute to it, or say, hey, I like what you did with that. You should try doing this. And eventually, would get responses back, and it's amazing how far you can get if you just treat them like they're fucking people.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing. Like, it's difficult to say it, but yeah, I get it. These guys are somewhat celebrities, in the circles they run in, they're celebrities, they're well-known people, they're personalities, whatever you want to call them.
Like they get like mobbed at Minecon.
Yeah, that's the big thing. In their circle, they're pretty big. They're well-known, whatever it is. And instead of treating... And you know what? They're not actually famous people, though. That's the big thing. They're regular people who just happen to make YouTube videos. And you should probably leave them the fuck alone. It's the same principle with actual celebrities. They probably don't want you fucking showing up and, like, demanding autographs at the airport. They probably just want to go through the airport security terminal like everyone else.
Oh, exactly.
And I don't know what it is about, human nature that suggests that because this person is in the public eye, that you deserve part of their time or their attention in real life or on the internet. Like, let them, if they're trying to interact with you, let them interact. Don't act like you are their best friend and that you want to be their buddy and all this other shit, because they don't want to be your friend. They don't want to be every person who posts. They can't hang out with that person. The way you did it, which was acting like they were fucking human beings, is the way to go. But people don't.
Yeah,
really
it was just,
that.
oh, hey, you guys play this game. I like this game too. Let's play this game.
Yeah,
like that was pretty much it.
But that there are people who they're watching what these guys are buying and seeing if they're playing it multiplayer, and then they're going to play it multiplayer, figure out when they play, and try to get into servers with them and try to play with these guys.
Oh yeah, that was the other thing. I had again, before they released the IP, I had a bunch of people trying to add me on Steam again for that purpose of where they would wait to see when I was playing and then figure that I was playing on generic and Paul's server and then join in session on me.
Yeah. That bullshit. I wouldn't be able to handle it. You ever watch... some of the guys that I watch sometimes don't hide their Xbox Live notifications when they play.
Oh my god, I hate that.
And so... I have Steam pop-ups blocked. I have... all the other...
You can set it on Steam to where it'll show if you're online, but not necessarily show when you're in game or not, can't you?
Yeah. There's a way to do that. I haven't figured out how to do that one yet, though. And I know there is a way. But yeah, I have all that stuff blocked when I play. I don't want people to fucking be constantly messaging me while I'm trying to do something.
Right. If you watch like a lot of older, like, God, well, so please don't go do this. But if you ever watch older videos when like Woody's Gamertag actually played Call of Duty,
yeah,
it was just a constant stream of Xbox notifications in his gameplay.
Yep. Yeah.
It's like, do you not know you can turn that off?
It's, what, these guys have everything cut. They're all like friend requests and messages and, hey, your inbox is full. What's the deal with that? And like shit like that. And it's why you can't hide it. That's the thing. You can't, when you're playing a game like that, you can't hide what your gamer tag is, because you're going to get it popping up on the screen every time you kill somebody or someone kills you. It's going to say it in the kill feed. But I mean, why are people doing that? That doesn't... They're not going to suddenly see your message. It's like, hey, Woody, I thought you would like to see that I am also a YouTube player, and like a link to, typed out link to your YouTube page. He's not going to see that and promote it. Fuck that.
No.
He's going to find people that like go and message him on actual services meant for messaging, and then he can take a top 5 video and put that together and make money and never talk to those people again.
Yeah.
But
or when people, when some of those kids don't get responses to their messages, they go on kind of like a little, revenge spree to where they start up their own little channel and suddenly have gameplay footage of themselves killing these YouTube players who, a lot of the time, they aren't amazing players.
Yeah. No, they're not.
Like
that was, I think that was the best part of the Call of Duty Elite app, was definitely when you could go in and see like
Oh,
Link's
yeah.
Redemption and Woody's gamer tags.
How many times they
stats.
quit out of games and
Oh god,
yeah.
that was like, I think that's probably more why he doesn't play that than anything else, because he had worse stats than I did in like every one of the games. And you're looking at it, you're like, but this is the guy who's famous. And if I remember correctly, his whole thing was like, I'm just an average gamer.
Yeah. With tips and tricks, and then all of a sudden he started spouting out sexual advice to 12-year-olds.
Oh, you think your sister's attractive? Try beating off to it. Yeah. Brilliant fucking advice, Woody. Super glad you're here.
What's beating off? Oh, well, here, let me show you.
Yeah. I'm going to have my son hump a dog on this live stream.
Oh, come on.
God. He got a fucking deal with Netflix to fucking videotape himself watching Netflix with his family.
Yeah. One of his series used to be, it was like Saturday night family movie time, to where you just watched a live stream of his family watching a movie. It was like just the shittiest version of MST3K you could possibly imagine, and you don't even get to see the movie itself. You just see them on the couch.
It's, well, on the couch and on the dog, because his son would get off the couch and hump the fucking dog on camera with no one stopping or paying attention to that. What the fuck was that about?
I don't know. I never watched any of that stuff.
That, like, if you told somebody, like, listen, there's this guy who plays Call of Duty and puts videos on YouTube of him playing the game. They're like, okay, sure, that makes some sense.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, he also started live streaming his family watching Netflix, but not the movie itself, rather just videos of his family watching Netflix. That's kind of weird. Oh, also,
Very.
his son is autistic and started humping a dog mid-live stream, and no one tried to stop him or discipline him, or maybe even, keep the dog from getting dry humped. That's the point where the other person, being rational, would just not believe anything you were saying.
Yeah.
What weird trajectory does your life go
Well,
on?
it to bring this full circle, it goes back to these kids wanting to connect with these guys. Like, that was, in some weird fashion, that was a way for these kids to be like, oh, I watched a movie with Woody's gamertag. No, you didn't, but
Sure.
it was kind of a way for him to try and bring those kids into his life, I guess. I still think it's hilarious if you watch. I'm sure you can pull up any of the Minecraft guys, like any one of their videos. There's always someone in the comments asking to join the Minecraft server.
Yeah. Oh,
It's like, I'm a really good Minecraft player. Can I join your server?
yeah. There's nothing wrong with being fans of somebody or disliking somebody and knowing quite a bit about them that they've put out there. But some people go fucking bizarre lengths and they try to do this, like, stuff that's never worked. Could you imagine if, like, your favorite, I don't know, recording artist was Michael Jackson 20 years ago, and you're like, yeah, I'm going to show up at Michael Jackson's house and I'm going to tell him how awesome I think he is, and I'm going to do that every single day. I'm going to yell the loudest, hold signs up, I'm going to comment on all his blog posts. Yeah, that's not going to work. He doesn't want to be your friend like that.
No, you're a stalker.
Yeah, and remember Etho, one of the guys on the Minecraft server?
Yeah.
He had someone show up at his parents' fucking business looking for him because the small bits of information he put out on
Yeah,
his
a lot of
videos-
people don't even know what he looks like. Is that still true?
Yeah, he has never released a photo apparently, or there's no video of him or anything like
Right.
that. And that's probably the way to go, because
Yeah.
even with as little information as he put out there, people still found out where his parents' business, where he lived, and they were just trying to like go there and hope that he would be there so they could like be friends with him.
I'm the guy who unmasked Etho.
Yeah, that must have worked out. So he obviously went a little bit further down the hole there, and we're not gonna get talked about now.
Maybe that's why Generic moved to Bulgaria.
Might be a smart move. A lot fewer chances for people to come after him. I mean, I guess what you could
except
do
the
is,
KGB.
yeah, I guess you could just go out there and completely lie about who you are and where you live, and
Yeah,
just hope that that keeps people away. But people are gonna do this shit. They're gonna go and stalk, and they're gonna go research. Like, oh, okay, this email address was registered to this guy, and blah blah blah.
I mean, on the flip side, you've got people who, actively want to share their entire lives with YouTube and even hang out with their fans, like outside of like I know a lot of the guys do it at like gaming conventions, like, hey, I'll be at E3. If you find me, come say hey. Like
Yeah.
that's fine.
That's...
But like, God, Wings of Redemption has told people that if they want to come hang out at his house, like just show up.
oh my god.
It's like, no, thanks. First of all, no.
Yeah.
Second of all, that's not a good idea.
yeah.
And I mean, like, B00 just had a kid, and like his second channel is, all about her and videos of his baby and everything, which I can understand, wanting to share stuff like that, but considering how crazy some of these kids apparently are, like, I don't know, you just gotta hope that they're gonna give you some level of personal privacy, but
Well, and
they don't really have a great track record with that.
no one does. That's the thing. No matter where you are famous or what you're famous for, if you gain any level of notoriety, it's people just feel like it's their job to come invade your life.
Right.
It's so bizarre. Actually, here's a good one that's topical to the point where I'm to the time I'm talking about it. But did you see that a bunch of pictures of Jennifer Lawrence have leaked?
No.
Yeah, someone hacked her iCloud or something like that, and so there's a lot of personal pictures of Jennifer Lawrence out there now. And
Like just personal candid or personal
No.
explicit?
explicit.
Yikes.
I don't really want to send people off after those either, because it's kind of fucking weird when you do that to people. And one of the places they're, of course, being circulated heavily is Reddit right now. And so there are immediately Reddit memes that are, fighting against the NSA hacking into, going through your private information, and then loves Jennifer Lawrence leak or something like that.
Right.
It's like,
Yeah.
people, it's terrifying when it's happening to them. Like, they're looking through my information and they're checking my emails. It's like, motherfucker, somebody just got their phone hacked, their iCloud information's gone, and it's out there. Like, you don't care about that. You just care about the fact that Jennifer Lawrence is naked in pictures. Like, it's the reality. Like, if you fucking did that shit to me, if somebody was like showing up at my office and was like spamming me Steam messages and YouTube messages all the fucking time about how they want to be my friend and when can they play with me and like, can we be buddies, I'll bring a 6-pack or whatever, I would fucking lose it. Like, I don't want that. And
Yeah.
I don't know how these guys who actually have that happening are dealing with that. I mean, to a large extent, I have to imagine they're ignoring it. I'd love to have that conversation with one of them to see how they actually do that. And I'm not going to, because that'd be fucking creepy. If you ask that question, how do you ignore your fans? Like, that seems like I'm accusing them of ignoring people on purpose because they hate them or something. But that's one of those things about video game celebrity, I guess, is you have a bunch of people who are probably technologically savvy in some way who are obsessed with you.
Yeah. It's just boggles the mind.
It does. So in lighter news, the Zoe Quinn fiasco continues on, but in the middle of this, another of the tropes versus women in video games videos came out, and
God.
this one got such a heavy reaction from the morons who hate those videos that there were death threats issued. Anita's phone or whatever got hacked as well, and so they have the address of her and her parents, and she had to leave her house for a while to stay with friends to make sure that everything was alright. Like, holy fuck. What is wrong with people? What the fuck is wrong with people?
Yeah, it's just too much too much access to information and access to other people and being entitled, thinking you're. I can't even speak.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Now, the thing is, there are legitimate criticisms that you can level at her for some of the videos. Like, they're very basic. They don't really... But that's what she wanted to do. She wanted to do very basic level stuff to kind of get people to understand, like, on a fundamental level, where the objectification and where the bias towards male figures in games are coming from. Good. It's all well and good. But a lot of people have pointed out that she very clearly does not play these games, and one of the things that she apparently, I really need to go watch it to make sure I'm not sourcing this incorrectly, but one of the things she really cited the game Bayonetta for was that Bayonetta was a strong single mother. And that's kind of a weird statement because that baby ain't hers that she looks after. Like, yeah, it's a whole thing. And, you know, it's been stated before by the people who actually produce the video content that she uses of video games, is that she's just going onto a YouTube channel of somebody who did a long play of the game, which is like a let's play but with no commentary.
Yeah.
And she's just pulling footage from that, and that's where she gets her footage. Doesn't credit it or anything like that, which I think she's correct in saying that under fair use policies that it's totally fine for her to do that because it's completely transforming what they're doing and changing it out and making it her own stuff. So she's fine there. I think that's fine. I think there could be more research into what the actual game is instead of blindly citing things that happen once or that are meant to be weird and obnoxious. But at the same time, she's performing, I think, a valuable service, and that is holding up a mirror to the gaming community and just like making them realize this is what you appear to be to a lot of people. And then they do shit like this, and it's like, oh, appear and are, you dumbasses.
Yeah.
Like, there's space for valid discussion about how she handles things, but that's not the way to go about that discussion. I really can't understand who thought that was a good idea. So, people are fucking idiots.
Agreed.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Everyone is fucking stupid.
Yeah, pretty much.
Everyone.
So
we're stupid. You listening at home is stupid. Everyone just sucks.
If you're listening to this, you probably are stupid.
Probably.
Luckily, King Moron, you and I combined, we're making this thing.
Yeah. Oh, once again, it probably seems awfully quiet because Arnold once again is not here.
He's probably out there having sex.
He's probably going to show up in the last 5 minutes again.
Yeah, I would imagine something like that might happen. Not really concerned.
He's actually been here the whole time, listening quietly.
Well, he's just been on mute, doesn't realize it.
He's breathing heavily in a corner.
Yeah. I'm going to come in and say something at the last second possible. But whatever. Let's hope he shows up for the next one the full time. But
yeah.
This is the one that we could actually run over on because neither of us have work in the morning, I imagine.
I do actually.
Oh,
we do not get Labor Day off. We take a day in lieu of that around Christmas time. So.
Oh, okay. You have a floating holiday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, just real quick, I don't know if you know anything about this game or not. I meant to ask about it last week. If you had heard anything about it or seen anything. Destiny looks like the most overhyped, melodramatic, like, piece of shit game I've ever seen, and I've only seen commercials for it. I haven't gone out and looked up anything on it. Like, have you?
Well, I can't play it because I could put it in my 360, I guess. Destiny is, for the uninformed, Bungie's next game. It's coming out in a few weeks, and I think September 6th or 3rd is the release date, so Tuesday. So by the time you hear this, it'll actually have been released. And it's more or less cooperative Halo, 4-player co-op missions and all this other crap. And then there are what they call live fire events or something like that, where people can join in and like take out a boss with 5 or 6 people. There's a class system, there's a race system, or whatever it is. You go.
It looked like Halo with superpowers.
Yes, it looked like Mass Effect 3 multiplayer. I was actually telling Arnold the other day that I think Warframe is probably exactly what that game is, where it's basically I'm going to go out and get a bunch of loot. Or you know what? Actually, the better way to describe it is Borderlands. Because I started playing Borderlands 2 because it was cheap as shit on Steam to get the Game of the Year edition with all the DLC. I forgot how much I fucking hated the humor in that game, but at the same time loved the game itself and how it plays out. That's a really good game. Anyways, yeah, it's basically space Borderlands, more space Borderlands, and you have all your Halo, accessories and accoutrement, and then you have vehicles and shit, and yeah. But apparently, people played the beta, and they were very, very impressed with it, or they were very happy with it. But to me, it seems like the sort of thing that after a few sessions, you're probably just gonna say and be done with it.
Yeah.
Like, it really looks like they spent a lot of money to make a game that was gonna be kinda okay. I'm sure it's gonna get really great reviews because Activision's pushing a lot of money into the advertising for this, so you know that Polygon's gonna be very concerned about how much money they make out of it. But yeah, to me, it's not that interesting. It really seems like it's going to be an okay game that people are going to talk about being great and like the first great game of this generation or whatever it is.
I mean, and this might be too big of a topic for us to get into, but I mean, just from the commercials, it looks like they're portraying you as basically a super soldier with superpowers. You can't be defeated. Like there are no game characters that come out anymore that are at all relatable. That aren't nigh invincible or nigh invulnerable like the Tick. Like where's the Gordon Freemans? Just the regular guy who ends up being a hero.
You need to go play Far Cry 3.
Really?
Yeah. That game is pretty good in general, but you start off the game as this guy, Jason Brody. He is just a guy who happens to be wealthy. He's like a 25-year-old kid or something like that who gets caught in a bad situation, and like the entire time he's running away from the pirates that capture him and his friends. He's just out of his mind, doesn't know what to do.
Yeah.
And of course, after about 40 minutes of the game, he is like totally okay with killing people with a machete up close.
Right.
But at the same time, it's like the Gordon Freemans of the world, where he was just kind of quiet and had to use his wits to survive and shit like that. That's kind of what that comes down to in a lot of ways. You're not a super soldier. You're not... part of the...
You're either a super soldier or the world's greatest assassin or just some other contrived bullshit.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's what sells.
I want to be a humble plumber who fell into a drain pipe into a magical world trying to find a princess.
God, the Super Mario Brothers movie was terrible.
I want to be a bad enough dude to go rescue the president.
Well, that's when you're a super soldier.
They weren't super soldiers. One hit and they were dead.
The other one that I thought was actually good for having a bit more relatable character was Max Payne 3.
Yeah, never played it.
If you play the other Max Payne games?
I did not.
Okay, Max Payne 3 is pretty great. Yeah, you have your slow motion and everything like that, but Max is like getting older. He's overweight. He's a severe alcoholic with a pill problem,
That's pretty good.
and like that was one of the more interesting games to play because he is just an asshole to everyone he meets, and everyone seems to fucking hate him. And he's just like, even when you're watching the game, he has shit happen to him, and he's just like, of course. And when you're playing the game, the pills that you down to bring back your health, because there's no regenerating health in that. They're kind of few and far between a lot of the time, and I spent a lot of the game just like, please don't shoot me, please don't shoot me, please don't shoot me mode. And
It'd be funny if you had to go find like illicit drugs that he was addicted to just to function normally in the game.
Oh man, that'd be great. Everyone drinks.
Like if you had a heroin addict you had to feed throughout
God.
the game.
I think that was a plot of a movie. But yeah, no, I really suggest going and checking that out. It's probably out there for like $5 on the 360 now. So go find that. I played it on the PC. It looked great.
Yeah.
Let me think. What other games had sort of relatable heroes? The Condemned series. The first Condemned game.
I mean, it doesn't even have to be relatable, but just to where you're not basically given control over a god. I think a lot of just lazy kids want to play those games to where back in our day we had cheat codes.
Yeah.
If we got tired of games like, oh, I'm just going to throw on God mode and plow through this game and destroy people. Like now, they're basically given a God mode character from the start.
Yeah. No, I understand where you're going with that. I also kind of agree with it. You're pretty spot on. I mean, but that's the illusion of power. That's one of the things that tropes versus women in video games actually kind of suggests, is that a lot of video games are basically male power fantasies.
Oh yeah,
and
absolutely.
You can't really deny that fact. I think you're bringing it up now, where it's like, I'm going to be a superhero no matter what game I play, even if it's not a superhero game, and go out and fly around and all this other bullshit, and I use my powers, all that. Like, yeah,
I want the best gun in the game from the start.
Yeah, well, it's always a pistol. Duh. Haven't you played a game in the last 20 years? It's always a starter pistol is the best gun in the game. And then if it's not in the next game, people fucking freak out and tell you're the worst developer ever.
The only better thing than the starter pistol is dual wielding the starter pistol.
Hell yeah. God.
Anyway, yeah, I didn't mean to get on a whole big topic on that, but
no, well,
it's just something that Destiny kind of sparked in me watching those commercials.
Yeah.
I was like, how can you ever lose at this game looking at all the shit you can do?
Yeah, it's weird, but it's also one of those things that it's I think Destiny is actually going to be harping on a lot of things that we're going to see a lot of in the next few years, and that's drop-in, drop-out co-op. That's also semi-competitive. I guess you could call it asymmetrical co-op, and sort of guerrilla versus modes. Like, Destiny does have a straight-on player versus player versus mode, but if you look at something like The Division, which is Ubisoft's game that's coming out probably late next year based on current information. It was supposed to come out this year, according to Ubisoft, and then the developer Massive said that's a fucking bad idea, and actually said we don't want to pull Battlefield 4 in their press release. And so they're going to push it out to next year, but that's going to be one of those things where it's you and your friends are going through these missions, and then when you get to the end of the mission, or there's a point in the mission where it's like, oh shit, there are other people trying to get this stuff, then you have to fight off other enemy players.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, there's stuff like that coming out and down the pipeline that I think is going to be really neat. I think it's going to be the hallmark of this generation kind of early on. where it's multiplayer is no longer me and 4 friends only, or me and a couple friends, or 3 friends only, or
Right.
we're setting up in a lobby and we go into this game. It's going to be a lot more drop in, drop out. It's going to be a lot more of the of asymmetrical warfare and like stuff like Evolve, right? Where have you heard of that?
No.
It is so it's 4 players versus 1 player. And so the 4 players are trying to track down and hunt this monster that is controlled by the other player.
Huh.
And so the 4 players are. It's made by the Left 4 Dead guys, and the 4 players are.
I was about to say, it sounds a lot like Left 4 Dead.
Yeah, but the 4 human players are set like they have to be these 4 classes. They're always represented, but there are different characters within the class that have different abilities and layouts and so on. And so the monster runs away. The hunters track the monster through things like signs and tracks on the ground, and the monster has to try to eat like local wildlife to get its health up and do the evolving, as it were. And the hunters are trying to get to it before it gets too strong and powerful. It's really kind of neat.
Huh. I have to look into that.
I'm looking forward to that. If I can get a good crew of people who play that when it comes out, I think that'll be interesting. But there's a lot of stuff like that coming down the pipe, and I think that's really neat. I think if that's how we're going to handle multiplayer in the next few years, because right now EA actually put an edict out, I think 5 or 6 years ago, that all games they release need to have some multiplayer component.
Right.
And so I think that's going to be a big thing, is that people want replay value out of games, and the easiest way to do that is to put multiplayer into it. Give people an experience outside of the single-player story to go through. And, Max Payne had multiplayer for the first time in the series with Max Payne 3, which was actually apparently very good. Games like Spelunky that you don't really think are multiplayer games have multiplayer. It's bizarre. Yeah. It's really what's going to be happening in the next few years is a lot of indie games are going to be single-player experiences, and then almost all of your big studio releases are going to be multiplayer focused or multiplayer heavy. So I think that's where we're really going on this. But yeah, another thing we've resolved on our end of things. I'm glad that we were able to put this brain trust together and talk about the issue.
Hooray!
But I have to imagine that you want to get going so you can get up in the morning.
Yeah, might as well. At least there won't be any traffic.
Hey, good news. I mean, traffic's been bad now for me because of the school being back in session, and all the soccer moms and football dads who have to take their precious Skylar and Tyler and Caden across the river to the high price schools and then drive back over the river to get to work. I fucking hate those motherfuckers. If I can just. They always get about. They're always on the road the same time as me, and they always make my commute at least 20 minutes longer.
Yeah.
And I already have a long commute.
I feel you.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for joining me, Three Toes.
Anytime.
Hopefully next time we'll have Arnold on.
Hopefully next time we roll Tide.
Roll Tide.